Earlier this year, in April, the Home Funders Collaborative announced the winners of its innovation competition to identify new and promising approaches to increase the supply of affordable housing for Massachusetts families with extremely low incomes. The winners were honored at a forum on June 13th at the Boston Foundation. To tell us more about that evening, we've invited Rebecca Kepnick. She's chair of the Home Funders and also the director of neighborhoods at housing at the Boston Foundation. And also we have Soni Gupta. She's executive director of Home Funders, which again is a collaborative focused on addressing the housing needs of families with very low income. Welcome to Urban Update, and welcome back to Urban Update, I should say, and thanks for coming in. Sonia, for our folks who maybe missed our original interview we did almost a year ago now, we're getting close to that. Share with me sort of the elevator pitch of how you describe your work at Home Funders.
Yes, Home Funders is a philanthropic partnership that provides below market rate interest loans to developers to develop affordable housing. And as part of our work, we advocate for increased resources and policies that will also increase the amount of housing in Massachusetts that's affordable to extremely low-income families.
Okay, now Rebecca, we just did a segment you probably heard there on the effects of this gentrification in Boston and all these sky-high prices. Does this confirm the crucial nature of the mission here?
Absolutely. I mean, as they were saying, $1.5 million for a condo, the families that Home Funders serves make about $24,000 a year. Obviously can't afford that, so it's really critical to support these families.
And you're able to find, you have been able to find housing for some of these folks, have you not?
So we've been able to finance housing that these families can afford, yes.
Okay. Now, Sonia, let's get back to the competition and the winners. I guess tell me about the June event. How excited were you there? And sort of give us kind of an overview of what happened with these winners.
Well, it was a very exciting day. We selected 4 winners out of the 19 competition entries. The event on the 13th was at the Boston Foundation, and it featured the awards for the foundation. So all of the 4 winners were given their cash prizes. And the keynote address was by Professor Matthew Desmond, the author of Evicted: Poverty and Profit in the American City. He's a sociology professor at Harvard. And he captivated the audience with his stories about the 8 families in Milwaukee that he followed for about a year and a half. And during his presentation, you could have heard a pin drop. People were absolutely mesmerized by the stories he told about the struggles of these families. I think there was a lot of excitement about and a lot of energy around wanting to do something.
Okay. Rebecca, what about the winners? Can you tell us something about the winners and what their ideas were? I think we've got a little graphic we can show when we talk about that.
Sure. So the grand prize went to Preservation of Affordable Housing, which is a nonprofit developer. They proposed a donation tax credit where individuals can donate their houses or their properties to nonprofits who will use those, convert those to affordable housing for low-income families.
Mm-hmm. And I see a second prize there?
The second prize was to...
you can look right there.
Oh, okay. The second prize was to the Coalition for Occupied Homes in Foreclosure, and they buy properties out of the market that have been foreclosed upon and rehab them and help the families that are already living there stay there. And then the third prize went to the Citizens Housing and Planning Association, or CHAPA, and they are proposing to work with hospitals and healthcare providers to find new sources of funding for affordable housing. And
again, so this prize money is for the winners to use to build this affordable homes, that people can actually live in. It must get some really innovative ideas there, I would imagine. Sonia, I guess what's next? Has there been any progress on any of the winning ideas since the announcement of April this year?
There has, actually. Very exciting news. The donation tax credit, which was our grand prize winner, was signed into law through the Economic Development Bill that was signed in August by the governor. And this will now allow the program to be implemented. And CHAPA also has begun conversations between healthcare providers and housing entities to talk about how they could set up some kind of system that meets the needs of families.
How do you keep up with the growing need to advocate for these kinds of solutions for, I guess, low-income families for housing, especially when there's a market that's just seems to be overheated now?
Right. the sad story is that we aren't keeping up. When you hear the stories that DNA Realty was telling us about the prices, families, their incomes are not keeping up with the cost of housing in Massachusetts, certainly not in the city of Boston. So our work, part of the role of this competition was to spur new ideas and get people invested in trying to do more.
Rebecca, where can people go to get more information about home funders?
www.homefunders.org.
Okay, all right. And Sonia, finally, I guess, or maybe both of you, what are your long-term hopes for that this competition will mean for the outcomes for these ideas? What is your vision for this?
Well, first, we hope that the winning ideas will get traction and be implemented so that we do see an increase in the amount of housing for extremely low-income families. We hope that the interest will continue beyond the idea of prize money and a competition for people to continue to think about what could work for the housing market here in Massachusetts.
And really just raising awareness
Exactly.
of the whole housing crisis. In terms of people who aren't millionaires.
That's
okay,
right.
all right.
That's right.
Sonia Gupta and Rebecca Kepnick, thank you both for coming in, and good luck with your program.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. When we return, common tips for using exercise, massage, and a few do-it-yourself ways to alleviate some common pain ailments. Coming up right here on Urban Update.